Hello everyone. So in this video we're gonna do some dogfighting against the old nemesis, the MiG21, flown by a veteran level AI. And this was the first attempt to try a guns only fight against an opponent. And on the forums everybody says you should never turn with basically anybody. The F104 is a horrible turning plane. It's supposed to fly fast, shoot missiles, and then get out. But I want to see if I ever get caught in a situation, what I can and cannot do. This was actually the second engagement. The first one, I got into a flat spin almost immediately. I pulled too hard and ended up in a flat spin, so I had to eject. So on the second one, I figured I can't turn horizontally, so the only chance I have is to pull up in the vertical, and then see if I can come on top of him, which is what I'm doing right now. And conveniently, he's dropping flares, so I know exactly where he is. And I got trigger happy and shot all kinds of rounds. And luckily, some of them connected. So there's a fireball, and there goes the MiG-21. So that was a quick victory right on my second engagement. So I was pretty proud of myself, and I figured, okay, so I've mastered the dogfighting in the F104. But it's, as the other rounds will show, it's not exactly true. So here comes the second round. Once again, I'm happy as a clown. I won my first victory, so I figured I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to pull up in the vertical, except this time I didn't go with as much speed. So as a result, I got slow at the top, and I deployed flaps and to sort of help me over the top and speed up my downward turn a little bit. And I'm looking for the MiG, and the visibility is horrible, but once again he conveniently gives me some flares so I know where he is. But this time I didn't have enough to pull the angle and shoot at him. So at this point he's got a nose down attitude, which should have told me that he's going to pick up speed and come up behind me. I, on the other hand, forgot to retract the flaps, so now my flaps are stuck, and I can't really generate the speeds that I need in order to keep playing the vertical game. So as my speed decays, I'm going to try to turn down and keep looking for him. And I just can't find him. I looked around, tried to pick up some speed. Incidentally, you really can't speed the, you can't see my HUD because I'm playing in virtual reality, and the VR helmet is only recording one of the eyes. I think I'm recording the right eye or something. But you can keep track of my airspeeds on the airspeed indicator. So I'm doing about, what is it, about 350, 400 knots or so. Down to 250, so I'm really slow, and I'm still trying to do the vertical game, and I can't find him. In general, the visibility is just bad, and he snuck up behind me, and I'm going in. So that was a wake-up call for me. Taught me several lessons. You have to keep the speed up. If you do use the flaps, make sure you are in a sustained turning fight at low speeds, ideally below 350, because otherwise the speed quickly creeps up and you're not going to have time to retract the flaps. So once again, same kind of a setup in round 3. I come over the top, and here comes a bandit. Once again, I pulled too hard, I almost lost control. But fortunately, I was able to recover. This is not a good situation in a dogfight. I have no idea what the MiG was doing in the meantime. I think it was going up the last time I saw him. But I did manage to pull out of this, and it took a few turns. Here's the MiG, by the way. So wait for it, And as we get down to the thicker air, you know, I did manage to recover. But by now, of course, I have no idea where the MiG is. If this was a human player, he would have dispatched me by now. But the AI is, well, it's AI. It's artificial intelligence. So, apparently, either he lost track of me, which is almost impossible. The AI knows everything about everybody. Or he just was too far away to take advantage. But there he is. He's right behind me. He's getting into my control zone. So at this point, I'm actually pretty slow. So I don't have too many options. And what I did find out is that the F104, contrary to popular belief, will turn, and will turn fairly nicely. If you keep it around somewhere between 260 and 240 knots with flaps down, it will actually turn very nicely. So in this case, I decided to extend, you know, pick up some speeds. The MiG21, as you can see on the RWR, is behind me. So I'm gonna go straight up, and I'm gonna reset this game. And the problem is that I've wasted so much fuel by now that I don't know how much longer I can stay in this fight, and I'm not even sure if I can disengage. I mean, I have a faster plane, but that MiG is in the control zone, and at least I think he was in my control zone, and I have no idea how far he is, so he may be ready to start taking shots at me. So I may not be able to extend and fly home. So, but with my speed up, I can go up and basically continue what I've been trying to do, just play it in the vertical and see if I can drain his energy. And there he is. He took some shots. He was behind me. So he took some shots. He hurt me a little bit. And there he is again. Now he took all my electronics. So now I lost my HUD. I'm smoking, but I'm still flying. My engine's still on, and some of my instruments are still working. So at this point, I really have no choice. I have to run for home. So fortunately for me, I think the AI is set up so that once it damages you, it pretty much leaves you be. So if the AI thinks you're damaged enough, it just flies off. So the MiG kind of flew off in the distance, and I headed down for the deck, and I was just wondering if I'll be able to make it home to the air base. I had no idea at this point where the MiG was. My RWR was dead. Essentially all my electronic equipment is dead except for the analog gauges. But fortunately, as you can see, my altimeter is working, my airspeed indicator is working, my
fuel 500. ACS failure.
Should be enough to get me down on the deck.
Radar
and
failure.
I'm not going to do any patterns in this
ACS
case. I'm just going to fly straight in. So I'm flying pretty quick.
Radar
I'm doing
failure.
about 700 knots, pretty close to the runway.
Failure.
And then when I got close, I popped up the air brakes and let the airspeed decay. And then in the last second, I dropped the landing gear and I lined up for final. And I had no idea if anybody else was coming down that runway. I just wanted to get down before that MiG gets behind me. I think the MiG had actually disengaged at this point, but I didn't know that, so I just wanted to be down on the ground in one piece. So here comes Smokey Robinson, and he hits the deck. Not too bad of a landing considering the state of affairs. So, but as you know, any landing you walk away from, I even managed to pop the parachute. Anyway, round 4. Here we go again. Beautiful MiG-21. So, if you're keeping score, that's 2 rounds for the MiG and 1 round for me. That very first round went for me. Then the MiG shot me down on the second round, and he shot me up pretty good in the second one, in the third one. So let's see how things work out in the fourth round. So round number 4, same thing, I'm gonna go straight up. The MiG is actually a little bit to my left, so I'm going up, but I'm also keeping an eye over my left shoulder to see where he went. And again, I have a really hard time seeing him. He's so small against that blue sky. Until he starts dropping flares, which he conveniently for me does, and then I pick him up on the radar, of course. I have no idea where he is. So now I can start taking shots, but my marksmanship sucks. So I did hit him, and at this point I thought he was going down, because there's several hits that I scored on him. So I actually relaxed, and then the RWR receiver came to life, and I knew that he wasn't down, so I had to turn around and finish the job. But I was almost, you know, thrilled with the victory, and didn't expect to go back into the dogfight. So that shows you again, you can't expect the enemy to be dead until you actually see him go in. So keep up the fight. And there he is. He's actually not, you know, he's not in my control zone, but he's getting there. He's turning pretty good. And now I'm kind of slow, and I'm stuck in this turning fight with the MiG. So I figured, let's see if we can turn with him. I knew that at about 300, maybe 240 to 300 knots, I can actually turn and stay with him pretty good. So as you can see, I'm actually gaining on him. I mean, he's got a damaged bird, so he's definitely hurting. But the F104 that has a reputation for not being a raid fighter, it's actually pretty nimble. Now I can't quite get the lead enough to, you know, I took a few shots, you know, hoping to score, but yeah, I don't want to press my luck pulling too hard on the stick, because I know I'm going to go into a flat spin. So those were wasted rounds, because I knew even as I was pressing the trigger that I didn't have a lead far enough to hit him. So the MiG went up, and I'm gonna try to follow. Now I do have enough airspeed so I can follow him. So I'm doing about 250 knots now, 270 knots or so. And he's just climbing away very slowly. I mean, he must be doing less than 200 knots, maybe 150 knots. And I got a perfect target now. But then I run out of ammo. I mean, this would have been like a perfect kill, but I ran out of ammo. So at this point, I'm not sure what's going on. Did I kill the pilot? I mean, maybe the pilot was wounded and he tried to go up and then passed away or died or something. So I have no idea what happened, but that MiG kept climbing at a 45-degree angle, just kept going up, and you know, it's kind of strange that he'll be climbing it, doing 150 knots at such a steep angle. But I figured, I'm out of rounds, I'm just gonna get out of there and count myself lucky. So there goes that MiG. I mean, he's still going up, so I have no idea what he's doing. He's got a pretty steep angle going. You know, he was all shut up. So maybe I killed the pilot, I'm not really sure, but I never got a confirmation that this was a kill. Either way, I made it home. So I'm counting this as a sort of a victory, because I did land rounds on him. He didn't land any rounds on me. I made it home in one piece. I'm not sure if he did. I assume he did. But this was one of those strange engagements where, you know, I guess we can call it a draw or a very slight victory for me. So far the count is 2-2. Rounds 1 and 4 go for the Starfighter. Rounds 2 and 3 went for the MiG. Here's round number 5. By now, I kind of have my confidence up again. I know how much to pull in order not to get myself into trouble with the AOA. I kind of know when to deploy and when to retract the flaps. So here's a perfect opportunity. The MiG is coming up right in front of me, and this time I damaged him pretty good. As he was climbing, he really had nowhere to turn. It flew right in front of me. So I also learned my lesson that until I get that notification that the MiG is going down, I'm gonna keep up the fight. So I'm gonna turn around and see what happened to that MiG. He went up above me, so I'm kind of keeping an eye out, and then I saw, you know, debris sort of falling toward the ocean. So I knew that the fight was over, even if the kill notification didn't come in. So that was a quick victory for the Starfighter. And of course I flew happily home and landed at my airbase. Round number 6. Final round. So far, for those keeping score, it's 3-2 for the Starfighter. Once again, I started an early turn. That's probably a mistake because he could have taken me out as I was flying upwards past him. So again, I have pretty good speed. I can climb up and then come down on top of him. And conveniently, he starts shooting up his flares, even though none of us are carrying missiles. And same exact setup. He flies right in front of me, and I shot pretty much all of my ammo, and I took him out, but I didn't quite have the angle because he was starting to turn. And I pulled a little too hard, and once again, I'm in a flat spin. Those flat spins are just horrible. At this point, I don't even care what happened to the MiG. I mean, I saw the fireball, so I knew that he was dead. But I was more worried that I'm gonna end up in the water right next to him. So I'm just trying to recover this Starfighter, and I know that half the time, if not more, it's just not possible. You know, I end up in a flat spin, but fortunately this time, as I got pretty close to the deck, you know, below 7,000 feet, I managed to get control, so I very gently, slowly pulled out. By the time I came out, I was about 2,500 feet above the deck. Very cautiously, you know, I'm getting my speed back, and I'm just gonna fly home. Count myself lucky that I didn't have to eject. And I wanted to check out the scenery, so I kind of flew low. The new update said they're gonna have waves breaking against the shores at the Marianas, and I didn't really see them. It's still a beautiful scenery, but you know, I haven't had a chance to really explore the islands all that well. But you know, here's the final landing. I'm lining up. This one's actually really easy to land. You know, for a plane that's so prone to getting itself into trouble in terms of AOA, the landing is actually fairly straightforward. You know, just tiny bit of throttle keeps the angle of attack under control, and then, you know, you can set up an almost perfect approach all the way down. Over the thresholds, and just waiting for that runway to kiss the wheels, and we're down and safe. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this.